Step right up, folks. Don't be shy. DJ Sugar Bear, reaching for the sky. You're locked into WDRA YouTube Radio, where the drama is bold. Get ready for a story, finally told. This your boy, DJ Sugar Bear, back in the house, on the ones and twos. And man, what a ride we just had in part 1. Genesis. Can you believe it? 25 years later, Mark Jones, JD, LLM, back in Northshore, and ran right into Sarah Hernandez. That reunion was thicker than a double-shot espresso, full of unspoken history and undeniable heat. Mark's rocking the Colonel stripes, Sarah's still holding secrets, and that tension? Off the charts. You feeling that drama? That's what we do here on the Drama Network. This is where new school YouTube and old school soap opera radio have a baby. And trust me, this baby's got sass. Welcome to your ultimate destination for gripping, serialized stories that dive deep into the messy, passionate, and often scandalous realities of human relationships. You're tuned into WDRA YouTube Radio, where I, KC Saga aka DJ Sugar Bear, guide you through intricate plots bursting with love, honor, and devastating betrayal. From hidden affairs to shocking revelations, our daytime operas will keep you on the edge of your seat, just like the classics you grew up with. If you crave stories where trust is broken, loyalties are tested, and every twist leaves you wanting more, you found your new obsession. And speaking of twists, you ain't seen nothing yet. Get ready for what's coming next. Right after this, we plunge into Part 2, The Constitution is Law, where things get even more intense. You do not want to miss a single second. So, stay locked in, hit that like button, subscribe to the Drama Network, share this with everyone who loves a good story, and leave a comment to tell us what you think. Let's go!
You are transported to Friday, April 14th, 1990. In our story, Northshore High School had been their sanctuary, a fragile bubble against the harsh realities of their lives. Mark, even then, had found in Sarah's vibrant spirit a liberation from his own quiet intensity. Sarah had seen in Mark's steady strength a haven from the turbulent undercurrents of her world. He remembered the way her laughter would fill the otherwise quiet library where they often studied, a melody that drew him in like a moth to a flame. She, in turn, was drawn to his calm demeanor, a steady anchor in the unpredictable storms of her adolescence. Their connection had always felt deep and true, built on shared dreams and quiet understanding. Before Mark left for college, a week after their graduation in the spring of 1990, he had asked her a direct question, filled with the optimism of youth. Sarah, before I take this next step towards my future at college, there's something I need to ask you, something that shapes that entire future in my mind. Will you be my wife? Because the future I see, the one I'm working towards, is coming back home to you, to our home, the one with the white picket fence. And in that home, with you, I dream of holding our child in my arms after I graduate. Marry me, Sarah, and let's make that beautiful future a reality when I return. Sarah, her heart soaring, had accepted. Yet, even in her joy, a shadow lingered. All along, she harbored a secret that she knew could threaten all of their carefully laid plans.
That will be perfect timing to have our child.
Then David Rodriguez had entered their orbit, Mark's best friend, a force of nature with a charm that could disarm anyone. Mark winced at the memory of David's easy smile, the way people were instantly drawn to his effortless confidence. He could command a room without saying a word. His rebellious energy, both intoxicating and, in hindsight, a warning sign. Sarah, usually so grounded, seemed almost mesmerized by his audacity. Even during their senior year at Northshore High, there was a subtle shift in Sarah's demeanor when David was around, a brightness in her eyes that Mark hadn't always been the sole cause of. Where Mark offered stability and a predictable future, David exuded a thrilling unpredictability, a sense of living purely in the moment that Sarah, perhaps feeling constrained by her own responsibilities, found undeniably alluring. Later that same spring afternoon, across town, the rumble of a souped-up engine announced David's arrival. His vintage 1972 Cutlass, cherry red and gleaming despite its age, roared to a stop outside a modest brick building, the local martial arts dojo. David Rodriguez, radiating a casual confidence that seemed to bend the very air around him, stepped out. Beside him unfolded Natasha Hill, his girlfriend. At 17, she was striking, tall and athletically built, her movements possessing a natural grace honed by years of Tai Chi. Her long, dark hair was pulled back in a sleek ponytail, emphasizing her high cheekbones and intense, focused gaze. Even in simple workout clothes, there was an undeniable allure about her, a quiet power that hinted at her skill in martial arts. It was rumored that even some of the male teachers at Northshore High found themselves momentarily tongue-tied in her presence. She carried herself with a self-assuredness that belied her age. David locked the cutlass with a practiced click of the remote. As they turned towards the dojo entrance, their hands brushing casually, a petite blonde girl, a senior at Northshore High, who had been lingering near a parked bicycle, suddenly tripped over her own feet. Papers scattered from her grasp. Her eyes, wide and seemingly innocent, darted towards David.
Oh, excuse me.
David, ever the gentleman, paused. Natasha's gaze flickered toward the girl for a fleeting second, a hint of something unreadable in her expression before she continued towards the dojo door.
Need a hand?
As David bent to help the blonde, their fingers briefly touched. With a practiced, almost imperceptible movement, the girl slipped a folded piece of paper with her number on it under the wiper blade of David's cutlass. Their eyes met for a brief, charged moment, a silent invitation in her bright blue gaze.
Thanks. I'm Tiffany. We are in Mr. Carter's English class together.
Right. See you around, Tiffany.
He joined Natasha, his hand finding the small of her back as they entered the dojo, the sounds of soft music and focused movements washing over them. He seemed completely absorbed in Natasha, his earlier interaction with Tiffany already forgotten. This was David, Mark thought with a familiar pang of resentment, even now years later. A champion Tai Chi fighter, effortlessly attracting attention, even while with his beautiful and accomplished girlfriend, Natasha. He was a magnet, and Sarah, caught in his orbit, had been drawn into his light. Sarah all her life had a strange way of keeping a journal. She journaled through letters. Having issues with her mother and the way she would express her feelings, she would write a letter to her, but she would never give her the letter. The letter was not for the intended recipient. It was her emotional coping mechanism, a way to process her turbulent inner world. The news of Sarah's pregnancy, the child was David's, had been a brutal blow, a public humiliation that had shattered Mark's carefully constructed world. He remembered the stark white of the pregnancy test Sarah had shown him, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and a profound sadness that mirrored his own shock. In that moment, the weight of her choice, the betrayal of their shared future, hung heavy in the air between them. For Sarah, there was a palpable sense of being adrift, caught in a current she hadn't fully controlled. The carefree allure of David having led to an unforeseen and life-altering consequence. He had turned away, the roar of his own disbelief deafening. In that moment, the future they had so carefully planned dissolved into a million shattered pieces. He couldn't reconcile the Sarah he loved with the Sarah who carried another man's child, especially David's. Pride and pain had choked any possibility of confrontation. He had retreated, enlisting in the army, burying his broken heart beneath layers of discipline and duty. It had been a 25-year exile, a flight from his own vulnerability, a desperate attempt to become the unfeeling soldier he projected. Even now, the memory left a bitter taste in his mouth, a phantom ache in his chest. Left to navigate the aftermath, had faced her own battles. David's sudden absence had forced her into a solitary struggle, raising their child alone. The letters she wrote were a lifeline, a way to process her complex emotions and the weight of her secrets. Years later, tucked away in a dusty box in her attic, those letters remained, silent witnesses to a love story derailed and the secrets that lay buried. Sometimes, when Mark's name surfaced in a casual conversation, a ghost of that past turmoil would flicker in her eyes, a subtle reminder of the choices she had made and the love she had lost. The silence in Mark's room was thick, heavier than the humid April air seeping through the closed window. Yesterday's shock had curdled into a bitter, festering rage. He paced the small space, the worn carpet doing little to muffle the restless energy churning within him. Every memory, every shared laugh with David, every tender moment with Sarah, now felt tainted, poisoned by the truth, a truth that had been even more insidious than he initially knew. He stopped abruptly, his hands clenched into fists.
Damn him. He was my best friend, my brother. How could he do this? He could get any girl. I remember in junior high, girls would give him their lunch money. He could have had any girl in the world, and he had to take mine. There's no way she ever truly loved me. I was a fool, a pathetic dummy. Here I was professing my love, begging at her feet, putting her on a pedestal, asking for her hand in marriage, asking to be the father of our child, all along. She must have been laughing under her breath, mocking me.
Paranoia gnawed him. He remembered the hesitant phone call from David's cousin, the pity in his voice.
Bro, yeah, she confessed. But what she didn't tell you, they've been beeping together for the past 2 years. You and Sarah have been together for 3.
The casual cruelty of the revelation hit him again, a fresh wave of nausea.
I wonder, are they together right now? I bet they are, laughing at the naive idiot who thought he had a future. She will regret capping all over me. I will show her. I will be 10 times the man he will ever be. He will be nothing. And when I return to this heck hole, I hope they're together in the gutter, and I won't even look their way. Because I will be handsome, accomplished, rich, powerful, and connected. They will be my footstool. I will never speak to or call, or text, or communicate with them again. Sarah, David, and that bastard child are dead to me.
With that silent, venomous vow hanging in the air, Mark turned, his gaze fixed on some distant, unseen horizon. The hurt, instead of consuming him, began to transmute into a cold, burning fuel. Fuel to leave, fuel to conquer, fuel to take over the world. He would become the man who could never be hurt like this again. He would rise from the ashes of this betrayal, and they would witness his ascent. He walked to his closet, his movements stiff and determined, and pulled out his duffel bag. The military papers lay on his desk, a one-way ticket out of Northshore. He picked them up, a grim satisfaction hardening his jaw. His future began now, forged in the crucible of heartbreak and rage. The past was dead,